Have you ever looked at a landscape photo and loved it straight away, while others just seem to fail? The difference often comes down to composition, and when you arrange the elements in a frame to work together seamlessly, you have a great composition. Today we're talking about the art of composition and cropping in landscape photography, from understanding the basics to exploring different formats like square, panorama and vertical. These techniques will help you elevate your images to new heights, and don't forget to stay for my bonus tip where I'll tell you about another composition method that many photographers don't use. Hi, my name is Karen and I'm a professional photographer with over 30 years experience, and I make videos to help landscape photographers. I've seen the landscape of photography change dramatically over my time, from film to digital, from dark rooms to light room, but one thing has remained constant: the power of a well-composed image. Never crop in post-processing. You may have heard this before, and it can make you feel like you're cheating if you crop after the fact. But here's the truth. Cropping in post-production is a powerful tool and completely valid. Forget what the so-called pros say. This is your art. Even the best photographers sometimes miss the perfect composition. Maybe you were in a rush or the scene was changing quickly, and cropping allows you to refine your composition and create the image you envision. It's about achieving the best possible result, not following rules. Rules are meant to be broken. With modern high-res cameras, you don't have to worry as much about losing image quality when you crop, whether you're removing distractions like a stray stick in the corner or simply tightening up the composition. Post-processing cropping is a legitimate and valuable part of cropping. Now let's dive deeper into the art of cropping, especially in post-processing. Cropping's more than just cutting down the size of your image. It's about enhancing the composition, removing distractions, and bringing your creative vision to life. One of the major advantages today is that you can crop significantly without sacrificing image quality. With 24 megapixels or more, you have plenty of resolution to work with, allowing you to focus on capturing the moment without worrying too much about perfect framing. For example, if your shot includes something distracting, like a stick, a piece of a branch, or anything at all, you can easily crop it out in post-processing. This not only refines your composition, but it also ensures the viewer's attention stays where you want it. Cropping can also help you reframe a shot that didn't quite work out in camera, giving you a second chance to create a balanced and visually pleasing image. Over my 30-year career, I've seen the debate between purists who insist on getting everything right in camera and those who embrace post-processing. My advice: use every tool at your disposal to create the best possible photograph. In the end, it's the final image that matters, not how you got there. Now that we understand the power of cropping in post-processing, let's explore how different cropping formats can impact your final image. The most popular are square, panorama and vertical. Square cropping with its equal sides is perfect for simplifying a scene and focusing on symmetry. It's ideal for compositions with a strong central subject and for creating a balanced minimalist look. Panoramic cropping is designed to emphasize the vastness of a scene. It's especially effective for landscapes with wide vistas like mountain ranges, beaches, or city skylines. Vertical cropping can be surprisingly powerful. It's often used to emphasize the height or depth in a scene. For example, a vertical crop of a towering skyscraper can accentuate its height, while a vertical crop of a waterfall can emphasize the depth and flow and the size of the waterfall. This format can be particularly effective for portraits or compositions with a strong vertical element. When I started out, we were limited by film formats, and now with digital, we've got the freedom to experiment with different aspect ratios. Here are a couple of different examples of panorama, square cropping, and some vertical ones. So some composition basics. Good composition guides the viewer's eye through the image, creating a natural flow. And one of the most popular composition guidelines, I'm sure you've all heard of it, is the rule of thirds. Imagine your frames divided into 9 equal parts by 2 horizontal and 2 verticals. Placing key elements along these lines or their intersection creates a much more balanced and interesting image. For example, by positioning a tree along the left vertical line and the horizon along the lower third, the image feels more dynamic and engaging. It's more balanced, and the rule of third avoids placing your subject in the center, which sometimes makes it feel a little bit static. And as a professional, I've learned that while these rules are important to know, they're also made to be broken. Some of my most successful images have deliberately ignored these guidelines, and the key is understanding why these rules work so you can make the informed decisions about when to use them and when to break them for a creative effect. Now, another one I'm sure you've all heard of is leading lines. It's very powerful, and these are lines that draw the viewer's eye into the scene and towards the focal point, which could be roads, rivers, or even shadows can serve as leading lines that guide the viewer through the landscape, adding a lot of depth and dimension. Then we have symmetry, whether horizontal or vertical, can be a really powerful tool. A line of trees reflected perfectly in calm waters or mountain peaks bisecting the sky creates a sense of immersion and draws you right into the centre of the image. Balance, however, doesn't always require perfect mirroring. It's about ensuring the weight of the elements on one side of an image complements those on the other. A dense forest on the left might be offset by a sprawling meadow on the right, creating a composition that feels harmonious and well proportioned. Remember, these are all just guidelines, not hard and fast rules, and the most important thing is to experiment and what works for you and for your unique vision. And if you want to see more videos, subscribe for more tips and hit that bell so you never miss an update. So let's get back to our composition tips. Don't be afraid to bring your own perspective to your work either. It's what will set your photography apart. And another pro tip, don't be afraid to combine some of these formats. Symmetry with negative space or rule of thirds and symmetry can also add to the drama in landscape images. And that brings me to my bonus tip, which is all about negative space. Negative space refers to the empty or open space around your subject. It can give your images a minimalist and serene feel, allowing your subject to stand out even more. And don't be afraid to leave large areas of your frame empty. It can add a sense of scale and mood to your landscape photos. But there's more to negative space than just creating a mood. It's also a powerful tool for simplifying your composition. By allowing enough negative space around your subject, you can eliminate distractions and make the subject the clear focal point of the image. And this can be especially effective in landscapes where the subject is small or solitary, such as a lone tree or a single rock. It doesn't really matter. Negative space doesn't just simplify, it amplifies the subject's impact. By giving your subject room to breathe, you allow viewers to fully appreciate its form, texture, and placement within the scene. So next time you're composing a shot, remember that sometimes less is more. And embracing negative space can lead to a much more striking and memorable image. And I want to encourage all of you, regardless of your age or experience level. I started my professional journey in my 30s and I'm still learning and growing in my 60s. Photography is a lifelong adventure. Embrace new technologies, experiment with different techniques, and most importantly, never stop seeing the world with wonder, as your unique vision is your greatest asset. I hope these tips on composition and cropping help you take your landscape photography to the next level. And remember, the key is to experiment, crop as needed, and find what works best for your style. And with the resolution of modern cameras, you've got even more freedom to achieve the best possible image. See you in the next one.